The moment you reject lust, something shifts, not just in your mind, but in the realm you can't see. It's not symbolic. It's real. It's spiritual. You've just declared war against a force that has operated silently for generations. Lust isn't just a fleeting desire. It's a spiritual force, old and strategic. It knows your family's wounds. It's familiar with the hidden pain your parents never talked about. It walks silently through generations, weaving shame into the bloodline. And the moment you resist, truly resist, you don't just break a habit, you confront a demonic system. That one word no might feel small, but in the spirit realm, it's an explosion. A divine alarm. Demons scatter. Angels engage. A throne crumbles, a throne that was never supposed to exist inside you in the first place. Most people never speak of this part. The spiritual backlash, the inner shaking, the silence that follows. But when you refuse lust, you're not merely stepping away from sin, you're stepping into spiritual authority. This isn't just a message. It's a battle cry. Heaven sees it. Hell fears it. Saying no to lust is like drawing a blade in the spirit and piercing through the dark grip that wants your mind, your heart, your calling. That no isn't just a personal decision. It's warfare. Lust isn't just emotion. It's a tool crafted to dull your discernment, cloud your vision, and sever your connection with God. Every yes to lust tightens the enemy's grip, not just on your behavior, but on your identity. But a no, a true no, shakes the kingdom of darkness. Because when you say no, you're not only resisting temptation, you're breaking spiritual contracts that may have ruled over your bloodline for decades. You're disrupting ancient patterns. Lust hides in silence. It thrives in secrecy and shame. It whispers, "You'll never be free. Everyone deals with this. You're too far gone." But when you say no, with clarity, with courage, you expose it. And when it's exposed to the light, it loses power. You might feel resistance. You might feel confused, drained. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're fighting. The war is real. You didn't just reject a thought or temptation. You evicted a spirit that believed it had legal ground in your soul. That single act of resistance was not small. In heaven's view, it was victory. What's more powerful, a moment of false escape or the strength to reclaim your mind? Each time you resist, you reclaim your thoughts, your will, your purpose. That no might be the most prophetic thing you've ever spoken. Heaven hears it. Angels move because of it. Demons fear it. When you say no, your spirit begins to awaken. You start to hear again, feel again, sense the voice of God again. Purity restores sensitivity. And with clarity comes authority. This is why the unseen world shakes when you resist. That no isn't just about denying sin. It's the beginning of your spiritual resurrection. The real battle isn't about pleasure. It's about your purpose. The enemy doesn't only want your body. He wants your voice, your future, your influence, your legacy. When you resist lust, you're resisting sabotage. You're saying, no more. And when you do, don't be surprised if things shift around you. If spiritual warfare increases, that's not a sign of failure. It's evidence that hell is nervous and heaven is backing you. Part 2. The generational web of lust isn't random. It's targeted. It comes with ancient rights, permissions passed through generations, unchallenged and unchecked. Most think their battle with lust is a lack of willpower, but that doesn't explain why patterns repeat across generations. Affairs, addictions, secrecy, broken homes, shameful cycles. These aren't random. They're inherited battles. Lust has studied your lineage. It knows where to strike. And it doesn't just target individuals. It seeks to rule entire bloodlines. It enters through doors no one talks about. Abuse, sexual trauma, infidelity, even spiritual practices never renounced. What started as one person's compromise becomes a chain that traps their children and grandchildren. But here's the truth. When you rise up and say no, truly, deeply, boldly, you don't just break sin off your life. You declare spiritual war on an ancient assignment. You begin to tear down strongholds built over decades, even centuries. Lust isn't shocked that you're tempted, it's threatened. When you rebel, demons aren't after just your fall. They want your children. They want generational access. They want to keep the door open. But when you resist, you slam that door shut, not only for you but for the future. Final words: this battle isn't about weakness. It's about destiny. You were never meant to live in cycles of shame. You were born to walk in authority. Every act of resistance is an act of recovery. Every no you speak is a declaration. I belong to God, and I'm taking back what hell tried to steal. You're not just resisting lust. You're reclaiming your legacy. You're rebuilding a bloodline, and heaven is standing with you. Part 3. You are the turning point. You are not just someone caught in a cycle. You are the interruption to that cycle. You are the one heaven has marked to break what has bound your bloodline for generations. That's why your battle feels so intense. That's why the temptation seems louder, heavier, harder. The enemy fights hardest when he sees a deliverer rising. You're not just another person in the family, you are the turning point. What was once normal in your bloodline, addiction, brokenness, secrecy, ends with you. Lust loses its power when you recognize that you're not fighting for freedom. You're fighting from the freedom Christ already gave you. You are not alone in this war. God hasn't left you to battle in the dark. His Spirit empowers you. His angels surround you. And His voice reminds you who you are, not a slave to sin, but a son, a daughter, a warrior in the kingdom. And when you stand your ground, even if trembling, even if weak, that stand becomes a shout in the Spirit. No more. Part 4. The fallout of purity, heaven's reward. What happens after the battle? Clarity. Peace. Power. Lust dulls the heart, but purity sharpens the soul. It opens your spiritual ears again. You start to recognize God's voice with new precision. Discernment returns. Sensitivity to the Holy Spirit deepens. The fog lifts, and you begin to see again, not just God, but yourself. You remember your calling. You remember your worth. You remember who you are. That's why hell fights purity, because it unlocks purpose. When you walk in purity, you don't just avoid sin. You access spiritual authority. You begin to speak differently, pray differently, love differently, lead differently. The very influence hell tried to hijack becomes a weapon in your hands. Your story becomes someone else's freedom. Your no becomes someone else's roadmap. Your resistance opens a gate for others to walk through. Final declaration: you're not too far gone. You're not beyond redemption. You're not weak. You're chosen. It's not just about you, it's about your children, your children's children, and every soul connected to your obedience. So stand, resist, say no, even if it's trembling at first. Say it again and again, because that no echoes in eternity. Heaven hears it. Hell fears it. And when you say it, you don't just break chains. You become the chain breaker. Part 5. This is more than a battle. It's a revival. Your no to lust isn't just resistance. It's resurrection. It's the awakening of everything that hell tried to bury inside you. Your confidence, your spiritual gifts, your purity, your intimacy with God. All of it starts to rise again. This isn't just a personal fight. It's the beginning of revival. Not in a church building, but in your body, your mind, your home, your generation. Heaven doesn't need a crowd to start a movement, just one surrendered heart. And if you're watching this right now, it means you're being called to stand where others have fallen, to say no where generations stayed silent, to rebuild what was broken. to restore what was stolen. You are not the curse, you are the cure. Part 6. A prophetic shift. Don't underestimate the spiritual shift that happens when you make a decision in private. God sees you. Heaven records it. The kingdom of darkness loses territory every time you say no, not just once, but over and over in the quiet places no one else sees. The enemy hoped you'd stay passive, that you'd numb yourself with compromise, that you'd believe the lie, it's just who I am. But it's not who you are. You were born for more. When you said no, you didn't just resist lust, you dethroned it. You didn't just reject temptation, you reclaimed identity. You didn't just walk away, you stepped into spiritual inheritance. Ending call. Perfect for video outro. So now, rise. Walk in that freedom. Don't go back to what God has delivered you from. Don't flirt with the very chain you were born to break. You're not weak for struggling. You're strong for staying in the fight. Your no to lust is shaking hell and honoring heaven. This is your war cry. This is your breakthrough. This is your awakening. And the battle you win today might be the freedom your children never have to fight for.